What? Daddy hurts a little bit. Can you do a little bit more therapy? All right. What?
I love that. For many of us, he provided the soundtrack to our lives. Mark Robertson was not only the voice of Savannah and the Lowcountry on Kicks 96 and later 98.7 The River for nearly 50 years. He was also considered the cornerstone of local radio. Known for his warm delivery and relatable presence, he served as a trusted morning companion for generations of listeners. His passion for our community and the people in it spilled over into the work he did off air through the many causes that he supported. Later this month, friends, listeners, and community members will gather to celebrate his life and the joy he brought to others. Former radio personality and one of Mark Robertson's dearest friends, Laura Anderson Piccone, joins us now with more. Thank you so much for being here and sharing the video and the pictures. I know you said that that one always gets you when you see it.
I started to get choked up watching it, and I'll get choked up now. Thank you, first of all, for letting us tell people about this celebration of life. It's great to be with you, Kim. That Mark had pancreatic, or he died of pancreatic cancer. He had prostate cancer in 2019. So that video is actually from them then, but I saw him a few weeks before he passed, and his dog was by his side, the same one from the video. And so it hits me as if it were just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, he brought so much light to every person he touched. People who don't know him personally know him through his work on the radio and with animals. Let's talk about your relationship and the many years you spent together and what that was like working beside him.
It actually started before I worked with him, Kim. I moved down from New Jersey. He's from Brooklyn. So of course we bonded over pizza. But my husband, who I met here and he grew up in Port Royal, worked with Mark back in the 1980s.
Stop it.
And so when we got married, I would hear stories about Mark, but I wasn't working with Mark at the time. Then I started working with him in 2011, and I got to understand it firsthand. He was my boss, but he was cool. He helped me become a better news talk radio personality and producer. He was funny. We loved chatting about celebrities, game shows. We would text each other when The Masked Singer was on with our guesses. He was just a really good person. And even when he had to be hard on people, he did it in his Mark way.
He had that magnetic personality and also that magic, that special someone that drew people to him, but also you got a chance to know the real him.
Yes. That smile is unmistakable, and it was genuine. When he read the letters for Christmas Wish, he got choked up, I think, every time. That was real. That wasn't acting. That was Mark. Towards the end, we ended up, it just kind of happened, where my husband and I acquired his record collection, which we are selling for his charities, and several other items, including this key to Port Royal that he got in 1997. And I discovered going through these thousands of records and these pictures that were sent to me, one from his college roommate and lifelong friend, that he still had one that was in a college picture. He's holding it up with his big Mark smile. And so these things will be out at the Celebration of Life on the 28th on display for people to see. There's another video, looks like WKRP in Cincinnati. I mean, pictures from the late 70s in Beaufort. WBEU was country at the time. And I noticed Brenda Lee up on the shelf when he was talking to actually Ronnie Millsap at the time. And I found the album.
I love it.
Yeah.
And you shared so many pictures with us. I want to see some of those pictures come up on the screen, but you mentioned his Christmas Wish program. That was a 25-year tradition that brought so much comfort and joy to families.
It really did. I got him a Coke with the name Mark on it. I don't know where the inspiration came from, and I wish I would have asked him. That's the thing about acquiring these items. It makes me want to ask him more questions, and I can't. But he felt for families affected by cancer, and it wasn't just children. It was children or their parents affected by cancer, but if they had the cancer, it affected the whole family. So he wanted to help everyone at Christmas, which is a time when you're fighting illness, you don't have the extra money for Christmas, for presents for the little kids. And he wanted to make it better for them. And that's how Christmas Wish, that's what's behind it. I don't know if he was affected by anyone in his family with cancer as a kid, or if it's just something that he saw was a need. I have a friend who sadly, several years ago, her 15-year-old daughter had leukemia. And she wrote a letter to Mark, and right afterwards passed away. And that was really hard. At the end of Christmas Wish, so many donations were sent in. He still gave this family money to get through that toughest of times, which chokes me up too. He just had such a big heart.
And this was decades before he was even diagnosed himself with cancer.
That's the irony, and the most heartbreaking part of it is that he passed away from one of the worst cancers, pancreatic.
Yeah. So let's turn this frown upside down and smile a little more, because animals, that was really one of the joys and loves of his life.
Yes, yes. He turned me into a cat person, so I have two now. He would feed the stray cats around the corner from the radio station. I did find pictures going back to the late 70s of him and his cats and their antics, including one of him and a cat with a Saturday Night Live poster in the background, which was adorable. Those will be on display at the Celebration of Life. He's just always loved animals, and he shared that by helping to get animals adopted, helping people find lost pets. If you lost a pet, he was the person you went to. And he helped so many pet rescue organizations in the Lowcountry and the Coastal Empire. So we will have, at the Celebration of Life, we will have the Palmetto Assistance League and the Humane Society, I believe that's the correct name, Humane Society of Hilton Head Okeechee Branch. They'll be out there with animals to adopt. They will also have information for pet owners or pet adoptees on how to take care of them, the vaccines they need, different information like that. And they are collecting donations, because there are needs all the time for animals that are rescued. They need pet carriers. They prefer Friskies brand foods, canned and also bagged. And then they need Pedialyte unflavored, because some animals are super sick.
Yeah, and blankets and things of that nature.
Yes.
So you're putting this together, or a group of you are organizing this event as a way for the entire community, because so many people loved him that it's not easy to have a ceremony and leave people out. So this is a way that everyone who knew him, who heard his voice, who loved him, who knew of him, can come and remember him and continue his legacy.
Well, even though Mark touched so many lives, people will think of him for the rest of theirs. He was very humble. He didn't want a big funeral, anything like that. So there weren't plans for that. And the rabbi talked with his friend and executor and said, people want to celebrate him, you should really do something. And it's Rabbi Stern. So that's how this came to be. Kevin and Linda Sekula are the main people behind it. And then the rabbi will be there to say a blessing for Mark. You'll get to look through his album from his bar mitzvah when he was a little kid. And if you've never seen Mark as a little kid, he was adorable.
Well, Laura, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Here's the information on your screen. The Celebration of Life for radio icon Mark Robertson will be held Sunday, June 28th from 2 until 4 p.m. at New Riverside Barn. That's at 30 Red Barn Drive in Bluffton. You can find all of this information again and see this interview anytime by visiting our website, wsav.com/community corner. We appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kim. We'll also, in the spirit of Mark, have giveaways.
Okay.
Music, audio, Parker's gift cards. It'll be a great time.